RDA would like to thank you for participating in one of the most popular, most exciting sports around. As an industry leader in both snowmobile engineering and the promotion of safe riding, we're providing this video along with every new 97 Ski-Doo snowmobile. Follow along and we'll demonstrate some important winter rules of responsible riding that apply to everybody who snowmobiles. We'll also show you how to perform simple troubleshooting on your sled, as well as ways to easily adjust its suspensions. Stay tuned. What you're about to learn will add to your fun once you have a better understanding of how to ride right. Everybody who rides, and we do mean everybody, must know how to play it safe while snowmobiling. Let's start with the basics of proper protective clothing. Now, it can get pretty cold over the course of a ride, and when you consider how low the wind chill can drop while you're moving on a sled, proper protective clothing becomes more than a convenience. It's a necessity. The ideal clothing for snowmobiling must allow you to move comfortably without restriction. It must keep you both warm and dry. It must also protect against cold air seeping into your clothes and warm air escaping. When you dress for snowmobiling, start from the inside and work toward the outer layers. By layering your clothing, you can keep warm in the coldest temperatures and still stay comfortable when the mercury rises by removing a layer of clothing and storing it aboard your sled. First, put on some long underwear, like this advanced micro fleece. Next, add an in-between layer that could include a turtleneck, a sweater, or a fleece jacket. Now you're ready for the outside layer, like this wind and water-resistant high pants and jacket, or a one-piece snowmobile suit. The proper insulating socks and water-resistant boots are essential, as are a face mask or balaclava to protect your face, head, and neck from exposure in extreme cold. Of course, proper protective clothing must always include a helmet, approved by DOT and other standards. Protect your eyes from low branches and flying debris by keeping the visor down or wearing goggles when you ride. Now put on some warm gloves or mittens and you're ready for just about anything. Your authorized Ski-Doo dealer carries a complete line of snow gear clothing designed specifically for the needs of snowmobilers. He'll be happy to show you the proper clothing for the way you ride. Now that you're dressed right, it's time to check your sled. Make sure you know your snowmobile thoroughly before you begin to ride it. Pay particular attention to the warning labels on your sled and obey them. Read and understand your operator's guide and safety handbook to help familiarize yourself with your new snowmobile. Be sure you know the location and operation of all your sled's controls, including the brake, parking brake, emergency shutoff switch, and throttle. Always check to see if the throttle operates freely before you start your sled. Make sure there's adequate tension on the brake lever. Always attach the emergency shutoff tether to your body when you're riding. Your snowmobile is powered by a 2-cycle engine with separate tanks for gas and for oil. Make sure you have adequate levels of both. If not, you could run out or even damage your engine. Now you're ready to ride. But before you head out, make some important final checks. Be sure that your toolkit is stowed on board. Always carry spare spark plugs and an extra belt. It's also an excellent idea for at least one person in your party to bring along a first aid kit, as well as food and provisions if you're traveling longer distances. Finally, inspect the condition of your sled. Make sure all the parts are in good working condition. Follow the regular maintenance intervals recommended in your operator's guide to help keep your snowmobile running right. Ski-Doo snowmobiles are engineered to be so easy to use that you may just want to hop on and go. But before you do, take the time to learn a few basic riding techniques. In most riding situations, you'll prefer the sitting position for its comfort and mobility. Place your feet on the footrests, both hands on the handlebars, take a comfortable sitting position, and away you go. But if you're riding over rough, ungroomed areas, you can absorb the bumps easier by switching to a knees flexed position. Always shift your body weight in the direction you're turning to keep your sled well balanced. The same riding techniques apply if you ride with a passenger, or as snowmobilers like to call it, two-up. Both the driver and passenger should always stay seated when riding two-up. The passenger should match the driver's body movements in turns or over varying terrain to help the sled stay balanced. Remember to be even more careful when riding with a passenger. Slow down, avoid the harder bumps and deeper snow, and always make sure your passenger is wearing the same protective equipment you are. Practice until you master all these basic riding skills. The more you learn to become a part of your sled, the easier your sled will be to control. But remember, know your limitations. Do not attempt any maneuvers performed by experienced or advanced skills riders. Always play it safe. Be sure to register your snowmobile in your state or province and get a permit before riding in other areas if required. To snowmobile safely, you must know the law. Different states and provinces have different laws, so always make sure you're familiar with local regulations before you ride. Now you're ready to enjoy the beauty of nature in winter, as well as the camaraderie of snowmobiling with family and friends over the almost 200,000 miles of groomed trails in North America. While traveling these trails, it benefits everybody to remember a few simple rules of etiquette. Never ride alone. Always keep a safe distance between sleds. Keep your place in line. Don't try to pass while on the trail. If you and your group decide to stop, pull off the trail to the right side in a highly visible area where other riders can see you well in advance and get by easily. Always stay to the right of the trail, allowing sleds coming from the opposite direction plenty of room to pass. Be particularly careful in staying to the right around corners, as riders coming from the opposite direction may not see you until you're very near. And please, ride smart. Snowmobiles are no place for irresponsible riding. Many trails have posted speed limits that must be obeyed. Never ride on railroad tracks, and know the local laws before riding on roads or in roadside ditches. While riding, basic arm signals provide an effective way to alert others when turning, slowing down, or stopping. To stop, raise your left arm straight up. To turn left, extend your left arm straight out. For a right turn, place your left arm out and bend it at a 90-degree angle upward. While this arm signal indicates to riders behind you that sleds are approaching and your group should bear to the right of the trail. Make sure you give the proper signal well in advance to give fellow riders time to react. In addition to hand signals, almost all snowmobile trails are clearly marked with signs that you should know. Some are identical to road signs. Other signs tell you whether snowmobiling is permitted in the area or not. Some signs alert you to potential hazards, while directional markers help you follow the proper trail. There are signs to direct you toward food, lodging, bathrooms, and other conveniences. And there are even signs to make you think. Make sure you check with the local DNR or DOT office or snowmobile club for the correct signage in their area. One sign that's particularly important to respect is this one. Snowmobiling is both an enjoyable and safe sport when you practice proper caution. And there's no place where caution is more important than when riding on or near bodies of water. This simple rule must be obeyed. Never ride onto a frozen lake or river until you are positive the ice is thick enough to be safe. If you're not familiar with ice conditions, check with local law enforcement or conservation officials before going ahead. If there is any doubt, stay off the ice. Remember, just because there are tracks on the ice doesn't make it safe. Don't endanger yourself and fellow riders by not taking the proper precautions. Wherever you're going, always ride smart. Riding responsibly and safely is more fun. Use common sense and courtesy. So get out there and enjoy yourself. But wait, don't touch that remote, because there's more helpful details about your new Ski-Doo sled coming up. Now we'd like to show you a few troubleshooting procedures that are easy to perform. Remember that for safety's sake, all of these procedures should be conducted off the trail with the parking brake on. And you'll find everything you need to perform these procedures in your sled's toolkit. Everyone should know how to change a spark plug, and you should always bring along extra spark plugs when you ride. Spark plugs should be replaced if your engine is misfiring, as well as at regular maintenance intervals. To replace a spark plug, simply take this tool, remove the spark plug wire, secure the spark plug wrench and turn in a counterclockwise direction to loosen until the spark plug is removed. Now take a new spark plug, thread it into the cylinder head by hand, then tighten the plug by turning the wrench in a clockwise direction until the plug is secure but not too tight. And replace the spark plug wire, making sure you connect the correct wire for each cylinder. Changing the drive belt is another simple procedure. And again, you should always bring along a replacement belt when you ride. The smart thing to do is to regularly check your belt for wear. If you see signs of fatigue, like this or this, it's time to change your belt. Changing your belt is easy, especially if you use this T-shaped wrench found in the toolkit. Locate this nut on the driven pulley. Insert the wrench and turn in a clockwise direction to loosen spring tension. This will allow you to easily remove the old belt and install a new one. Be sure that your belt is running in the correct direction to maximize performance and belt life. You'll know your belt is properly installed if you can read Bombardier right side up when the belt is in position. All that's left to complete the procedure is to turn the wrench back in a counterclockwise direction to regain spring tension. Secure the belt guard, and you're ready to go. Many of you have also asked about the proper procedure for adjusting the TRA clutch. While TRA is one of the easiest clutches in the industry to adjust the top operating RPM, any adjustment can seriously affect engine performance. We recommend that you consult the experts in the service department of your authorized Ski-Doo dealer. Here's a final troubleshooting tip that can come in handy in a pinch. If your recoil starter should break, you can still start your sled by this emergency starter rope and plastic clip from your toolkit. Open your clutch guard. Thread the rope through the plastic clip. Tie a knot to secure the rope. Position the clip on the clutch like this. Wind the rope around the clutch in a counterclockwise direction until almost all the slack is used. Now, give it a pull using the same procedure you'd normally use to start your sled. And now we'd like to show you just how easy it is to adjust the suspensions on your Ski-Doo snowmobile to maximize comfort and handling. Ski-Doo snowmobiles are divided into distinct segments, and the sleds within each segment are calibrated for a particular style of riding. That's why we say Ski-Doo snowmobiles are engineered for the way you ride. Almost all of our snowmobiles offer a version of our long-travel SC10 rear suspension. The SC10 designates Super Comfort 10 inches of travel. Which style of SC10 suspension your sled has depends on what style of riding your sled was designed for. For example, our Grand Touring and Touring snowmobiles are set up for a comfortable two-up ride through the trails. The suspensions on all Ski-Doo snowmobiles are easily adjustable to enhance the style of riding they're already suited for, allowing you to change your setup for greater comfort, different loads, and varying riding conditions. And again, all you'll need are tools included in your toolkit. Let's start by showing how easy it is to achieve the proper setup for optimal ride comfort. As a general rule, you'll achieve your most comfortable ride when the rear of the sled compresses from 2 to 3 inches when you climb on and sit down, like this. If the back of your sled compresses more than 3 inches when you board it, your ride will bottom out too easily, so you'll want to increase spring preload for a higher ride height. And if your sled suspension doesn't compress enough, your ride will be too hard, which means you'll want to decrease preload for a smoother ride. To change your ride height, take these tools and use them to adjust these cams on both sides of the SC10 rear suspension. Turn each cam into one of 4 positions that achieves your ideal ride height. Always turn the right side cam in a counterclockwise direction and the left side cam in a clockwise direction. Remember that both cams must always be set at the same position. If you have a Grand Touring or Touring snowmobile, remember that you'll need to make adjustments whenever you switch from 1 to 2-up riding. Again, if properly adjusted, the back of your snowmobile should compress between 2 and 3 inches when the rider or riders climb aboard. Set the rear cams at or near the minimum preload for a single rider of average weight, and near maximum preload for a comfortable ride with 2 adults aboard. Or if you own a Grand Touring SE model, you have the easiest ride height adjustment ever offered on a snowmobile. Simply activate this switch on the fly to increase or decrease the air pressure of the pneumatic rear shock automatically for a supremely comfortable ride in virtually any situation. All liquid-cooled Ski-Doo snowmobiles, as well as the Touring SLE and the MXZ 440 fan, also offer an adjustable center shock to modify your sled's steering behavior and cornering ability. The right preload setting for the center shock should allow you to turn easily through the conditions you're riding in. If your preload is too soft, your sled will be hard to turn. Too hard, and your steering won't be as aggressive. If you're riding on hard-packed snow or ice, you may want to reduce preload, putting more weight over the skis to let your carbides bite in. And you may prefer a firmer setting for easier steering in deep snow. To adjust your center preload, take this tool from your toolkit and position it on the notches located near the bottom of the center shock. There are 5 settings to choose from, which you can select by turning clockwise for a softer preload and counterclockwise for a firmer setting. 97 Ski-Doo models with adjustable center shocks also allow you to change preload settings to fine-tune the handling of the direct shock action, or DSA, front suspension. The right setting will provide a combination of responsive handling and comfortable steering. If the preload settings are too soft, your front suspension will bottom out too easily. And if the preload is too stiff, your sled will be hard to turn. Again, take the correct tool and adjust until you find the handling setup you like best. And remember, both front springs should have the same preload setting. Some Ski-Doo models have additional suspension adjustments engineered to increase the performance that certain riders need. Our exclusive acceleration and control modulator, or ACM, has received rave reviews for its ability to fine-tune ride performance. You'll find ACM on all Mach, Purple Formula, Grand Touring SE and 583, as well as all liquid-cooled MXZ models. ACM allows aggressive riders to easily dial in the exact amount of weight transfer for their riding style. It is preset at the factory to minimize weight transfer for optimal cornering. If you desire greater weight transfer for quicker acceleration, simply turn this nut on the ACM clockwise to tighten a few threads at a time. Then ride at a moderate speed and check your handling until you find your ideal setup. Because of the unique deep powder conditions found in mountain riding, our Summit snowmobiles offer an easily adjustable stopper strap, also known as a limiter strap. Tightening the stopper strap allows riders to improve their angle of attack for superior performance in deep powder or hill climbing, while loosening the strap provides more comfort on bumpy trails. To adjust the stopper strap on Summit sleds, simply loosen this nut. Turn the knob to tighten or loosen for the ride you want, and tighten the nut back up after you've found your desired setting. Other Ski-Doo models also have stopper straps, but the adjustment is a little more complicated and should only be performed by your authorized Ski-Doo dealer. Finally, Scandic Wide Track, Wide Track LC, and Super Wide Track models feature an articulating slide rear suspension with its own unique adjustments. You can control weight transfer by controlling suspension movement. First, pick up the horseshoe washers found in your sled's toolkit. Now locate the rubber stoppers on each side near the back of the suspension. For normal trail riding, loosen the rubber stopper and install one horseshoe washer on each side like this. Then tighten the rubber stopper. When you need to carry or tow a heavy load, you'll want to decrease weight transfer further by including a second washer under each rubber stopper. Or for optimal performance in deep snow, remove the horseshoe washers and rubber stoppers. For even more useful information on how to adjust your suspensions for varying loads and conditions, we've included this helpful sticker located on the pulley guard. You can also consult the suspension adjustment section in your operator's guide. And your authorized Ski-Doo dealer can answer questions or help show you how to perform these simple suspension adjustments. Thanks for taking the time to view this video. Now get out there and enjoy your new Ski-Doo snowmobile. We'll see you on the trails.